Kusile nebenkosi Kusile nebengwazi kamahlokohla vuka nathi ke nalomuhla singena ka Kusile breakfast show hlelo lwanga lesithathu kanzi ke insuku tingemashumi lamabili nesikhombisa inyanga yeLweti inyanga nje sekusele yinye ukuthi sephethe umnyaka sawuphetha ke solo siyaqhubeka sibuka donati indzaba tentfutfuko lapha eveni naletinye nje tindzaba letawenda ukuthi sive semaswati nemimango yakhona kwati ukuthi live lisatfutfuka ngitiphi tindzaba lekufuna sive ke sitati ukuthi kufuna sive sendeni kudena naso sidlale inzima yaso live lisatfutfuka. Good morning once again. My name is Sifiso Ngumalo. Happy to be your host this very Wednesday morning as we delve today into the transformative power of technology under the Ministry of ICT, the innovation that is shaping Eswatini's economic as well as its social future. And we're going to be joined today by two remarkable women leading the charge. Ms. Itumeleng Mphatso, the CEO of CCG System Eswatini, who is amongst pioneers in enterprise resource planning solutions, as well as Ms. Millicent Nkambule, their regional administrator. They represent the vibrant leadership of our communities. They are housed by the Real Science and Technology Park, popularly known as the RSTP, as their incubator, as the Eswatini's technological dreams continue to thrive and be realized. Their work is very important as it aligns closely with the ambitious vision of the Ministry of ICT under the leadership of Honorable Minister Savannah Mazia, whose goal is to obviously foster a knowledge-based economy. As she has said many a times, she emphasizes youth empowerment, digital transformation, as well as leveraging technology for sustainable growth. This is an important conversation as we speak to two young people already leading the charge in that front, and most importantly, housed by the Science Technology Park, with which the ministry has said we need more research parks and science parks to house such innovations in Eswatini. We want to explore this morning the vision that intersects with local innovation to creating a brighter STEM-driven future for the Kingdom of Eswatini. It's a conversation that you do not want to miss, that is happening this morning at 7:30 a.m. Outside of that, we do have the news for you, our local bulletin in Siswati, as well as our English news, as well as a glimpse into some of the international developments when it comes to current affairs. We want to start the program this morning by looking at the leading headlines in our major newspapers. KBS paper run. Let's start by looking at the leading headlines this morning on the Times of Eswatini. This is the front page. The big story, 335 million emalangeni exponent investment loss, claims Dave-controlled central bank. Dave George, FSRA must pay back the money according to Pali committee. Stakeholders say FSRA, the CBE, their failure aided in this theft. On another story, mob attacks brave former ranger, burn his rendezvous. Former ranger Tulani Mahlobo from Manzana in the Lubombo region was hospitalized after he was severely attacked by a mob on Monday, and he was also forced to drink petrol with the intention to set him ablaze. A rendezvous belonging to another ranger, whom the mob accused of being involved in the killing of a poacher, was burnt by the mob after futile attempts to force Mahlobo to commit arson. Another story, Jericho faction founder dies, on a sad story. On another one that is concerning about today, severe storm is expected today in the afternoon. The last story, liquidate EEC. That is the sentiment by the business community of Eswatini. Moving on to the sports headlines of the Times of Eswatini today. Following Bird's leadership change, head coach Caleb has quit. Ngwenya, mom on exit claims, new MC expected today. That is the story that has been unfolding at Mbabane Swallows Football Club, which has since been handed over to the PTY Ltd. of Mbabane Swallows. Another story, coach exit claims dismissed. The president of the Eswatini Football Association, Peter Samora Similane, has categorically dismissed allegations surrounding the resignation of Sihlangu head coach Zdravko Lukarasic. On outside of Eswatini, Zambia's Banda wins big. Moving on to the Eswatini Observer headlines this morning. Big story, Miss Eswatini upgrades to spectacular new car, fit for a queen. That beautiful vehicle there. Some of the top 10 Miss Eswatini contestants posing next to that car. The newly launched, I don't know how to pronounce the name of that vehicle, but it's a J7 version of the J-Coup, which is available courtesy of Stucky Motors. The car is the grand prize for the event slated for Saturday. Ranger's house burnt by mob is another story, as he was accused of shooting and killing suspected poacher. Mob also assaults douses former ranger with fuel and is saved by police. Indlovukazi gifts Christmas babies. Noma ngiceveza khwesha wabhuza usopheke banfana depota Khisimusi. Proposed tariff hike allow EEC to liquidate. That is the business community. Police officer arrested for assaulting lover is another story. Moving on to the sports headlines of the Eswatini Observer, the big story there. Birds of the same feather fly together as outgoing MC promises support. MC changes tune as assets to be handed over, and he wishes the team the best. Players resume training. Was Monday's dramatic handover of the club the right tonic for the players is the question, but the training will resume, and Mbabane Swallows will continue to play in the league. Another story, Wanderers status quo sparks division as days of uncertainty escalates. Serious division also rocks Hub Giants Monzini Wanderers as their marathon case drags on. Eswatini Daily News, starting with the front page. Moody's upgrades Eswatini's rating. This is a story that speaks to Moody upgrading the ratings, and the government of Eswatini's long-term local currency and foreign currency issuer rating to B2 from B3. Concurrently, the government's South Africa National Scale rating, NSR Senior Unsecured MTN rating, was also upgraded to P from PBA2ZA. Moody's said the outlook has changed from stable to positive. Another story speaks to Exponent's 360 million Emalangeni scandal. Minister Neil Reichenbach, Dr. Phil assigned to get back the money. Moving on to the sports headlines of the Eswatini Daily News. Caleb is set to fly out of Bird's Nest. League-winning Mbabane Swallows head coach Caleb Ngwenya will not be continuing with his duties under the new management committee. Ex-Sihlangu manager Space Lotata passes on. And the last story speaks to Mohamed Salah's contract, and Salah contract comments, no distraction to team. Those are the leading headlines this morning on the major newspapers of Eswatini. We'll go for a net break and we'll be back shortly.
Kuyabonakala ukuthi live lifanele lisuka umkhankaso lomkhulu ngematubane lamakhulu livele lithi mkwe.
Thokotela luhlelo lwakho sive siyathuthuka njalo ngabo lesithathu nakushaye kwagabanqa insimbi yesithupha entsambama. Luphindwa ngabo lesine ekuseni nakushaye insimbi yemfika.
Tinkhundla tingumgogodla walohulumende tingumgogodla wentuthuko
yathuthuka nakangwane lithuthuka ngetinkhundla
ngoba kuye kuvakale bominister bahlonishwa ukuthi uhulumende akasebenze kanzi uhulumende la ngaphandle uyasebenza kuphela lefuna sikwende kuqinisa kakhulu le PR le public relations ukuthi kuvakale ukuthi uhulumende imisebenzi yakhe uyayichuba la ngaphandle manje into ematiko la ifuqa kwemsebenzi kahulumende.
Ngosilenhle nadidi indzaba teSiswati indlovukazi Mhlekazi seyiphe umtholampilo wakazondwako emabhayi latawuphiwa abantfwana labatawubelekwa ngelilanga laKhisimusi nelaNcibilijane. Indlovu yemhlaba iphela umtholampilo eMateki kanye-ke naletinye tipho. Lokhu kulandzela ukuthi Mhlekazi abone kukuhle ukuthi aphela umtholampilo timfanelo letawusebenta eluhlangotsini lwekubelekisa.
Kwathi ngenyanga yengci kulomnyaka silo semhlaba nendlovukazi Mhlekazi bavakashela umtholampilo wakazondwako lapho khona silo sabusisa ligumbi lelihlangothi lwekubelekisa. Ngemuva kokubona simo sakhona kulolu vakasho indlovu yemhlaba ibe seyibona kufanele kupha lo mtholampilo tintfo letidingeka kuleli gumbi lekubelekisa. Imelelo indvuna Themba Geninza indlovu yemhlaba iphela umtholampilo emabhayi ebantfwana labatawufika emhlabeni ngelilanga laKhisimusi ngelilanga laNcibilijane.
Nine bekunene sonke siyathi kusenhlitiyweni yendlovukazi ibathanza kanganani bantwana nokwekuthi ibathanza kanganani bogogo nabomkhulu. Njoba sashito umbishop lapha usikuye kuyidzabukise na isivakashela bomkhulu bese ikhanza labatukulu bede nekwekwembatha. Ise nje nayo njengagogo welive ayimane iphose naku lokusesivivaneni ngayo inhlangano yayo yakaphilayo. Bekunene inkosisi asitenethulela nanga emabhayi etinswane bomilijane laba labatelwe nanathi ticatshulwana tabo bodwana labatatifaka. Kukhona ke nalokunye lokuswa bobhova bakubhalile la ngathi usukunjani. Kepha ke kuswa bobhova niyacaba nini niyakwati. Nayo ke inkosisi asitekwethula. Kulamateki ke bangibhalele lapha lokuthi alikhulu nemashumi lamabili nelitekli lokho 121 nalapha ke emabhayi nayo angileyo nombolo emabhayi lakhona. Lokhu kwemateki nalokho amabhova kunengi bekunene asikakhona ukubala. Live ke liyajabula bekunene kwekuthi nibambe lo msebenzi njengoba nayo ikliniki yakazondwako iphumelele. Sibhekekile ukuthi sikusebenze lo msebenzi babendlula inkosi. Inkosi kubeke kulo msebenzi ngoba ikwethembile. Ibona ukuthi futhi inkosi nayibeka isibeka lapha kuleti ndzawo isuke ithandazile. Isuke yathi lokuthi utawubamba lo msebenzi. Inkosi bekunene isasethule nathi timphahla siyethule kilo kini bekunene kwekuthi labo labancane seniyawaphuthela bafuthumale nabo nkosi bakhona ukuthi badle Khisimusi. Labo labatawuvela ngaKhisimusi nalabo labatawuvela ngaJanuwari boJanuwari seniyawaphuthela ngabo.
Letipho ke temukelwe yindvuna yetempilo Mduduzi Mathebula lobonge emakhosi ngekukhathalela ukuthi kwakhiwe umtholampilo kazondwako wethembisa nokuthi titawufika etandleni letifanele.
Ngicela kucala ngikubonga. Ngibonge ingwenyama nayo yona indlovu yemhlaba ukuthi beyingasivulela le kliniki yakazondwako. Solo sajabula noma uhambe etaladini kazondwako solo lelanga abalukhohlwa. Sithi ke solo sikhutala bayethe wena waphakathi Nkosi Ndlovukazi Mhlekazi. Ngingakachubeki ngicela kubonga. Ngibonge engwenyameni kokuthi litiko libambiseke ngalendlela elibambiseka ngayo. Sibonga kokuthi akhulule emazinyane ukuthi abengawabambisa kule Daka Health. Ngibathe ngiyahamba lapha etiko ngikhanza lama NGOs onke agcwele emazinyane agcwele emakhosikadi sibambisekile sibaka health ngayo yonke indlela. singeke sikulibale lokho ukubonga. Kepha ke namuhla sihlangane ngesipho lesikhulu lesibuya kumhlekazi asebenzisa Philani Maswati. Ngimangele nakuvulwa lamaboxini ngokuthi hawo labonto for predict labanje zange sengeke ngwabona emabhayili amahle ngalendlela. Ngathi ngisagadze emabhayi ngabona kungena nemateki kungena neMacrocs le indvuna iwabite ngemabhova. Emabhokisi angathi sitakuthatha kwekulayisha ngoba ngeke kwenele ngisho kuleloli. Diphatheke kahle letinto. Atibuye kuminister wa health, atibuye kusister wakazondo wako, atibuye etiko. Wonke lo uyawuthathole la kufuna athi sibuya phezipho lesi.
Lebe bakhona nakwethula letipho letibuya kumhlekazi bekusikhulu sekazondwako kanye nelilunga lePhalamende. Dintsabeni kubika Pholile Maziyana Thabiso Dlamini kalobamba.
Umhlonishwa Mvunankhulu Russell Mmiso Dlamini lomelele ingwenyama eGhana sewuhlangene nenkosi yesive sema-Asante ontomfuo oseyithuthu wesibili. Mvunankhulu ubonele inkosi yahamba nezinyane umfana inkosi Lindani kanye nemfana inkosi Simelane. Asike kulo mhlangano lebewu ungakavulelwa noma ngubani labaholi lababili bavuselene. Mvunankhulu wendlulise netilokotfo tengwenyama kanye nemlayeto lobuya kuso silo semhlaba. Asesekhona eGhana Mvunankhulu bese ubonana namengameli wase-Seychelles umhlonishwa Wavell Ramklawan. Kansike lo mhlangano wenteke esikhumulweni setindiza e-Accra. Mvunankhulu uphinze wemukela sitfombele sakhelweke libandla le-Hallowed Charter Worldwide leliholwa ngumfundisi David Asante. Umhlonishwa Mvunankhulu Russell Dlamini uthi eMaswati angadlala inzima lenkhulu ekulweni nekugwama kwemagciwane ngesizatfu ke sekungasebenzi kwemijovo kubantu emvelweni kanye nasetilwaneni. Mvunankhulu uthi kunesidingo sokuthi kube netindlela letawukhutsata kusebenziseka kahle kwemijovo. Mvunankhulu bekakhuluma emhlanganweni wokwephetha umhlangano sikolo walabathintekako etindzabeni tekuvikela kugwama kwemagciwane lawo ke labangwa kusebenziseka kabi kwemijovo. Umsebenzi lobe ubanjelwe eMountain View lapho umhlonishwa Mvunankhulu yethule inkulumo yakhe ngetindlela tebuchwephesha.
Live leSwatini beliyingcenye yemkhankaso wekufundisa ngekuvikela kungasebenzi kahle kwemijovo ngesizatfu sekuthi lamagciwane lasemtimbeni etilwaneni noma emvelweni sekagwamile. Lo mkhankaso sewephethe ngekuteka tindzaba letiphatselene nelitiko letekulima. Akhuluma ngenkulumo lecoshiwe umhlonishwa Mvunankhulu Russell Dlamini uthi ke kungasebenzi kwemijovo sekubangele kushona kwebantfu labanyenti emhlabeni.
The Kingdom of Eswatini plays a significant role in the fight against antimicrobial resistance. To all of Eswatini today, I want to draw your attention to this pressing issue that threatens our health, the health of our animals, and the health of our environment and our economy. To effectively tackle antimicrobial resistance, we must adopt a One Health approach. This approach recognizes the interconnectedness of human health, animal health, and the environment.
Indvuna yelitiko letekulima umhlonishwa Mandla Chawuka ithi ke imijovo ayisasebenzi ngendlela lebeyisebenta ngayo etikhatsini lesetengcile ngesizatfu sekuthi leminye yawo isebenziswa ngekufanana kubantu kanye nasetilwaneni. Indvuna ithi kubalulekile ukuthi imijovo isebenziswe ngendlela lenebunono nangekwelulekwa ngisho nasetilwaneni.
The whole world actually is now worried about this phenomenon because what it then does is that it exposes even humans to risks of not being responsive to administration of these antibiotics, because some of these antibiotics are used interchangeably or between humans and animals. So it is important that we make sure that we always adhere to the right practices.
Lolu hlangothi lokusebenziseka kwemijovo kuthinta ematiko lambalwa lafaka ekhatsi ilitiko letemphilo letekulima nelitiko letemcebo waphansi nemandla kulamanye. LeSwatini ngemnyaka wa-2022 belibalelwa kutsi liku-86 kumave langu-135 lokusho kutsi imijovo isasebenziseka kahle. Etindzabeni bikaSonto Mlangeni, ngiseMbabane.
Iphalamende seyicele indvuna yelitiko letekulima umhlonishwa wamandla Chauka ukuthi seyibuketa indlela tekukhulisa sikhwama hulumende lahlangabeta ngaso balimi labancane kute-ke sitawukhona kuba netisa bonke. Lokho kwenteke endlini yabayesikhulu ngemuva kwekuthi ilunga lephalamende lenkhundla kalamgabi lekungumhlonishwa sicelo jele liphakamiso sishukumiso khona endlini yabayesikhulu. Ilunga licele indvuna ukuthi ibuyise umbiko ngaloku angakapheli emalanga lasikhombisa.
Ngamuva kokuthi ilunga lephalamende lenkundla kalamgabhu umhlonishwa sicelo jele ethule lesishukumiso lapho wasekelwe khona ilunga lephalamende lenkundla yasemayiwana umhlonishwa sicelo Dlamini emalunga ephalamende abese ayasidingidza lesishukumiso.
Kucela nje etikweni ukuthi asimane sigaqa lesikhwama sitocoverisha emaswati lamaningi.
Besingacela nje ukuthi minister ngathi angenda njani nakunjani akabuye ephalamende kusenesikhathi acele le budget ya ngoba kuyabonakala lokho ukuthi umbila singakhona ukuthi limele.
Nasikhala ngokuthi nalingamane litiko ngosiyami lingete lithunyela ngoba umhlabathi wale emangqongqo uphuwa kakhulu. Sike salithola lithunyela salusebenzisa umbila lobo ukhona emangqongqo namangwathi wonganani.
Ingabe minister uma sekuphele nje umnyaka uye abuke vele mbamba enditiko kuthi kukhona yini hulumende la sitakale khona ngale subsidy kubalimi.
Seyiphendula indvuna yelitiko letekulima umhlonishwa wamandla Chauka ichazile ukuthi imali yalokusekela labalimi lebeyiphasiswe ngiyo iphalamende yasheshe yaphela.
Liqiniso leliphelele ufanele silikhumbule sibahlonishwa ngilokuthi litiko lihambile la ngaphandle etinkundleni limikisa lihlelo lokuthiwa simikisa litiko ebandleni besifika sikhulume ngaso lesikhwama lesi naletinye tikhwama sicucutele ukuthi balima abaphume bolima ngani ngoba sifuna ukuthi live sizesebenzisa ligama lelithi sifuna kuba ne-food sovereignty. Sifuna ukuthi sibe sikhululeke ekudleni ngokuthi ukudla sithikhicitele evele. Ngikho-ke lokubanga ukuthi labalimi basheshe baphume vele nabantu seyifika le mali balalizela lokucutela litiko bayaphuma-ke baya emalini. Mane-ke ngoba le mali vele njengoba saphakelwa indlu ehloniphekile yaphela-ke bantu bangakeneli. Bantu lesibasitile bakahle bahlonishwa badisho inombolo kuyavakala but nje inombolo le-official ingetulu kwa-6,800.
Umcondzisi wetenkulumo umhlonishwa Jabulani Mabuza ubese ucela imalunga ukuthi avote kuthi ingabe lesishukumiso siyaphasa nobe cha.
Labathi emotion ayisale iphasa abathi ayi labathi ayingaphasi abathi nay. The ayes have it and the ayes have it.
Etindzabeni te-Eswatini TV kubika Mbongwa Dube anasikhumbuzo Dlamini nasimuva Shongwe eGalobamba.
Inkampani yagesi Eswatini Electricity Company ithi kukhula kwesidingo sagesi kanye nemisebenzi lemikhulu lehlose kusukunyiswa kule nkampani eminyakeni timali wa 2025-2026. Ngona-ke kuyiphocelele ukuthi ifake isicelo sekukhulisa intengo yagesi eminyakeni timali lotako. Lokho kuvakele emhlanganweni wale nkampani netisebenzi tembuso kanye-ke nabosomabhizinisi labehlukene lobekubanjelwe ezulwini ngalesibili.
Ambulela inkulumo yakhe umphathi wenkampani yemagesi Ernest Mkhonda uthina noma isetafuleni indzaba yokukhula kwentengo yagesi le nkampani iphokophele ikhicita gesi welive lowanele ibuye inciphise lo leyithenga ngaphandle kwakuleli njengoba 60% wemali lezuzwa ngule nkampani ngeminyaka irevenue isetshenziswa ukuthenga gesi emaveni abomakhelwane. Sebafuna kucaciseleka ngesizathu sekukhushulwa kwentengo yagesi kuleli bosomabhizinisi nalabo lebebamelele uhulumende babute kanje.
I need to budget for an extra, how many? 3 times 2, about 60 million for this year.
Bosomabhizinisi ngekwehlukana kwawo batawube sebadonsa kalukhuni kungumanje gesi uyasidulela ngento kwaba khona indlela yokulandzeleleka kwentengo yagesi yini.
Why is the increase based on the ESCOM.
Sibukakala sesisime kakhulu kule Eskom. Nithi nitawuqinisekisa kanjani ukuthi inkampani ayithembele ku Eskom eminyakeni letako njengoba ngathi senilawula ngiyo le yankampani ukuthi singemaswati gesi singamthenga ngamalini.
Nyalo uma sesitawukhuluma ngabo 34%, ngabo 25% on average na 27%. Singamabhizinisi singasho ukuthi sitayithatha leyo percent. But ekugcineni kwako konke kude ibhizinisi litawukhona ukuthi yona itawuthi kulele bengitifisele kukwakha ngiyibhizinisi. Ngidakuthatha lokho ngikubuyise ngasekhaya ngingakumikisi kulolo thenga kimi.
Sebaphendula lababukela inhlangothi letehlukene kule nkampani babeke kanje.
If you look at the tariff application methodology, yes, we capitalize on completion, but what goes into the application methodology is the depreciation of those assets, which are depreciated on a straight line over 20 years. The loan that has been obtained has its own conditions, and those conditions require that we pay back by 30 years.
Asaphendula inye lemibuto losehlangothini letemthetho kule nkampani usinge kumthetho inkampani yalawulwa ukuthi ithenga gesi longanani. Lobuke kusebenta kule nkampani uthe kusabuketwa indlela letawubasebentela ngcono kuthi ikhone ukuthi ikhicitela gesi lotawenela even lonke. Umphathi wale nkampani uthe baphokophele ukugucula indlela labasita ngayo sive ngekuthenga tincola letanele kanye nekwakha i-application letawubita ngetulu noma ke imali lenganga 4 million emalangeni. Lobikako etindzabeni nginothile sithole Anathabiso Maphanga sisezulwini.
Losabambe kubangumabhalane lomkhulu etiko letemfundvo nanekimnisi uthi batali abangaphaphuleki njengoba hulumende uyayisebenta indzaba yelibhodi libuke kusebenta kwesikolo sasesifundzani. Lokulandzela ukuthi leli-ke lebelikhona selibeke phansi. Nanekimnisi bekakhuluma emhlanganweni nebetindzaba lobebanjelwe emahhovisini elitiko letemfundvo eMbabane.
Tinkhulumo letiphatselana na President wakaSNAT letibuye enkantolo ema-structures na-relevant ayayisebenta lendzaba njengoba sati ukuthi ifolisha under the Teaching Service Commission besithi asisho lokho. Bese-ke litiko libonile ikakhulukati tindzaba letitsintsana nemphana weLiswati esikolweni esifundzane primary school la kubonakala ngathi khona kucubunguka umsindvo ngetindlela tsitene. Litiko-ke lithatha lesigaba sekuthi aliphumele ebaleni likhulumise kafishane lendzaba nekulungisa nje ukuthi tinhlitiyo kubatali tibe ngcono bakhone kujinge basebentise esikolwa njengoba sati sekutawuvula tikolwa futhi ukuthi semadvudzane tivulela umnyaka wekhalenda ya 2025. Siyacela nje kunika abatali isiciniseko ukuthi sikolwa lesi-private government aided private school lesibitwa ngekuthi sifundzane primary school. Sikolwa sahulumende vele lesi-private lesisekelwa nguhulumende ngalokusemthethweni ngalokugcwele. Sacala sibitwa ngenyumbabane school kodwa nje-ke ngeke balalelisi badvonsele emuva kuloko ngoba nakukhona lokuhlukile ukuthi kumbe bafisa kuba nelwati ukuthi isikolwa sabani batasibuta njengelitiko kodwa besithi-ke asinike isiciniseko ukuthi isikolwa sahulumende lesisebenta njenge-private school titayiteli nako konke tibita hulumende tikhona and kude lokutawehluka kusebenta kwaso njengayitolo sitawuchubeka nasemnyakeni lotako sisebente njengoba besisebenta sibe ngile private school. Batali-ke abakhululeke bamikise bantfwana bakhona bothishela nabo bothishela sibanika siciniseko njengebantfu lababuka inhlalakahle yabo nekusebenta kwabo ukuthi cha batawuchubeka nje basekeleke njengayitolo kude lishintsho lolutaba khona. Lokutaba khona lokwe kungukuthi litiko litawukhokha i-interim committee ngesilumbi labo labatawuba ibhodi yesikhashana sisalungisa tindlela tekuthi siba nelikhetfo lelisemthethweni lelibhalwe phansi kuma-policies aka-education njengoba sente tikolweni tonke lakhona sibita ngekuthi ti-school committee.
Tindzabeni temidlalo lobuke kutfutfukisa umdlalo wesibhakela kuleli Maxwell Ngwenya uthi-ke sikhona sidingo sekukuthi akwakhiwe amaqembu abe netinhlelo tebadlali labancane labangaphansi kweminyaka lesiphohlongo aphindze-ke abe nemaqembu abomake lokuyindlela yokulungiselela likusasa lalo mdlalo.
Narcissistic development is the backbone of the sport. Yes, we still have a challenge in terms of developing young boxers, especially in Swaziland. Most of the clubs, they don't focus more with development. Yini ke lokhona lokushoda sikwende sima associations ngema coach. Kufuthi as a coach, every club futhi ibe ne-policy kuthi every club ayiqale phasi kwa-boxing ibe ne-development ibe nema-cadet ima-cadet sisibuka labantu abangaphasi kwa-10 years sicale sibe ne-long term athletic development sitokhona ukudevelopha ema-boxers from age lencane phindze lenye lokumele singakhona ukudevelopha lokusalako but we are still almost there emantombazane siwabonile siwadevelophile asakhona ukuparticipate internationally. The previous mantombazane beyincane percentage yokudevelopa emantombazane lokumele lesinga encourage kusive sakangwane kusi at least all the clubs should have policies kube i-association yethu futhi enforce i-policy kusi kude i-club leto participate ide emantombazane phindze kude i-club leto participate ka-boxing ide e-development ema-cadet bantu abancane from age 12 kuya upwards. And then lokunye lesishoda ngako lana nangibuka ku-region 5 region 5 nakhona siphasi nge-development site ema-junior ku-region 5 sithe nje i-junior development kusi atodlala emavasa akasadak adlale kube ne-junior kube ne-youth bese kuyasilimata uma lama-boxers asasuka from ku-youth stage aya ku-elite stage uma saparticipate international stage ku-Europe nje siyawabona sikhona i-junior championships nema-youth championships yingo lesinga-encourage la sinakangwane nase-Africa abe khona lama-junior nalama-youth tournament.
Mapalana wenhlangano yemidlalo webasketball kuleli iphilile simelane uthi iyachubeka tinhlelo tekucinisa ukuthi le nhlangano igcine itfola labo labangayisekela noma ke basekele lo mchudzelwano we-league kusukela ngenyanga yaBhimbidvwane eminyakeni lotako. Simelane bekakhuluma nalo msakato eMbabane ngempela sonto makuchubeka iMbabane Day mchudzelwano. Tingakonza bate Eswatini isitawubahlala emakethe ngekubuka simo selitulo salomuhla sitawubuya sicocisane nebelitiko letempilo.
Be sure to catch Business Watch every Wednesday between 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. where we feature the latest updates on business news, market trends, and exclusive interviews with industry leaders, as well as insights on emerging small and medium enterprises in the commercial sector. Business Watch, your business leader.
Renewal of TV licenses for 2024 is now open. Here is a quick reminder. A viewer's TV license costs 180 emalangeni per device. Other accessories such as decoders and set-top box cost 50 emalangeni per device. For traders and repairers, TV license costs 300 emalangeni per business area. And now, to pay your TV license, use these following methods. You can use MTN Mobile Money with the number 76222000 or dial *007 *3 *7#. Or you can use Eswatini Imali. And And you can pay our TV license at any post office in the country. Another option is you can use any Nedbank branch using our TV license account number 119900430037. Don't forget, when paying for your viewer's TV license, reference with your PIN at all times. And when paying for a retailer TV license, reference with your TIN at all times. For more information, call us on 7802-4543 or 34050163 or 34020879. And you can send us a WhatsApp message on 762222000.
It's 36 minutes after 6. Welcome back to the program. You're still tuned into Kusile Breakfast Show. This is the Wednesday edition. We are closing the curtain on what has been deemed as the Antimicrobial Resistance Awareness Week. I mean, we just watched the remarks by His Excellency Prime Minister Russell Dlamini, as well as other portfolio ministers like Mandla Chauka from the Ministry of Agriculture, speaking on the significance of recognizing this week and its ambitions and aspirations. It's a week really that is devoted to reckoning with one of the most insidious threats to our health in our age: antimicrobial resistance. This silent as well as relentless adversary threatens to undo decades of medical progress. If left unchecked, it could return to a time where infections claimed lives without hesitation. We're happy this morning to be joined by Style Gama, a dedicated pharmacist from Babane Government Hospital, and together we will unpack through the stark realities of drug resistance, what it means for individuals, for you, what it means for our animals, as well as for the world at large. What does it mean to live in a world where our strongest defenses fail? How can we prevent this nightmare from becoming a reality? These are some of the questions we want to understand this morning. Very good morning to you. It has been an important week, and I'm saying important because when you reckon with what this week seeks to achieve, you realize that even my life could be in danger. And so we really appreciate all the knowledge that is being disseminated. Perhaps let's start by understanding the nature of the threat. Listening to a lot of health practitioners speak about this thing, one cannot help but be scared. But at the same time, those fears get alleviated from what you then suggest. Could you please highlight the phenomenon le AMR? What forces conspire to make something so life-serving, so turn so treacherous?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I would like to greet the viewer at home. The AMR, it's been termed as a pandemic. It has been slowly brewing from the pharmaceutical field and also the health field, both in animal and solely in animal, human, and also the environment.
Okay.
So it is one phenomenon that affects the tripartite. So the tripartite being the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Agriculture, and the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment.
Right.
So what basically happens here is we see microbes gaining resistance in one way or the other towards the drug's ability to actually inactivate its activity against the microbe.
Yeah.
So that said, it has gone to a level where we are running out of options on how to actually address this issue with regards to the available treatment modalities. That is, for human health, it's the number of medication that we have. We are not getting enough to actually address the resistance patterns that are being shown by these microbes, even in animals, even also in plants.
Yeah.
So it is a cascade that is basically coming full circle now to show that it's rendering the human sector basically with regards to food supply, to the environment that we have, and our integrity, our health basically also is being compromised. Yeah.
It's quite scary. You speak about, not necessarily being able to meet the demand that it I suppose, proposes. Speak to me about whether it is looking good in the future for us to, at least meet that demand, because I suppose that becomes the biggest scare for us.
Actually, just to bring a brief history or background to this narrative, it's the rate at which the antimicrobials, the antibiotics as we term them mostly, but I would like to say, when you say antimicrobials, you're meaning antibacterial, antifungals, antiparasitics, and also, yes. So basically, it's a multi-microbe system. But when the lay has been over time, there hasn't been much antimicrobials being produced as per the demand needs at the reality, at the background, because either there's been misuse or an overuse, misuse and overuse of the drugs themselves. So it has rendered there has been a lot of genetic mutation of the microbes on the ground at a faster rate than the drugs are being supplied by the pharmaceutical industries. The research and development entity of the pharmaceutical sector is very low, such that I would not like to say it's not lucrative, but similarly there is not much interest by the big pharma to actually be producing more newer active ingredients that will address the newer, more resistant drug microbes. Microbial microbes, yes.
What has been the center of conversation regarding this year's Awareness Week in terms of, the overarching theme?
Okay, the overarching theme is basically educate, advocate, and act now. It was unanimously agreed upon in the UN General Assembly back in September in 2024, where the high-level meeting was undertaken, and they basically committed at political level and also at the financial level to actually advocate that each and every sector commits deliberately, even financially, towards addressing AMR. That was from the One Health approach, the One Health being the three-sector approach: animal, human health, and the environment. That basically is to increase the awareness on the community and stakeholders involved on let us properly handle these microbes so that we can be able to have a longer use life of these drugs developing.
Okay, maybe let's bring more light into the consequences of when antibiotics fail to work, or microbials, as you put it, because you did mention that this happens to people, it happens to animals, the environment alike. Speak to me about what kind of suffering then follows. This is when they fail to work on a person's body.
I think, thank you for the question. I would probably start with the economic impact, especially relating to the Ministry of Agriculture. We know that the animals that we have, the plants that we have, we expose them to these antimicrobials because there's a evident benefit of the production or the yield being higher if you actually administer these antibiotics at the stipulated times, guided by the treatment guidelines that are in the ministries. So if then we do not have this, or this resistance that basically develops, then the production or the yield that one gets from a certain square meter or from a certain livestock number, then it starts to dwindle. Thereby, their ability to generate income and thus sustaining all the dependence they have really diminishes. Then also when you go to the environment where we get all this waste from the human and from the animal, it ends up in the environment. If then we start polluting our water table, we start polluting all the resources that we have in the environment. We don't get clean water, then we start animals get sicker, people get sicker. You see, so the ecosystem basically gets topsy-turvy. Then now we're moving into the human now. What would be the effect in humans? Basically, how the AMR resistant microbe manifests in a person is when they get persistent illnesses and they cannot be treated with the conventional medication. This basically increases one's hospital stay. Meanwhile, the clinicians and all the investigatory teams try to look and find out how can you address this new mutated microbe, which has basically evolved to be resistant to the medication. This increases cost to the patient as they will have a long hospital stay. It increases income. It reduces their ability to generate income because they're no longer at their work of place. And also for government, it gets very expensive because government now needs to explore other means and actually advocate for newer drugs, which, remember, they're being not produced at the high pace as compared to the previous years. So each and every available drug now is at a very high cost because access is very limited. Basically, then there's zero benefits, basically.
You know what? We normally speak about some of the biggest threats to human life as well as our economy. And I know cancer is one of those. It's really up there when you look at, you know, the cost of treatment as well as the cost on human lives. You know, it's really hard to cure cancer. But I'm just realizing now the ripple effect of everything that you've just highlighted and the economic burden on the Ministry of Health, on the Ministry of Agriculture, which, you know, are two essential ministries in the lives and the human lives of Eswatini. It's such a matter of concern. I cannot even wrap my head around it. It makes me wonder when, you know, the global and local reality, when the CDC has put a face to the tragedy. They say 1.27 million lives lost yearly to resistance worldwide. What does this tragedy look like in Africa, or more intimately here in Eswatini?
Actually, to bring to light, for such an international platform to be able to get the feedback and come up with such statistics, it's always dependent on us in these respective ministries at these respective positions that we at to understand that each and every data we produce is critical to such a global scale projection. So that said, we need the reporting, our reporting mechanisms need to be very thorough and be very checked, monitored and evaluated most of the time. So the data that the country has currently, as the Minister of Agriculture had put it, we are seeing a penicillin resistance on the animal sector. Thereby, we've been advocating for the farmers to actually secure their services from the vets and also then vaccinate the animals on time. As the country's proper statistic, we do not have a solid number per se at national level, but we are reporting to the global structures. For human health, we have GLASS. For animal sector, they also have another platform they report to. I would probably post this interview, probably furnish you with the most realistic stats because they're produced once in a year. So I think for now we do not have a solid number, but we are reporting from the respective.
But we can, I suppose, we can make a generalization, perhaps outside of numbers, so to speak, and perhaps just look at the scale at which the scourge or this pandemic currently, you know, holds Eswatini. Would you say, because 1.27 million lives is alarming for the globe, are we losing a few lives in Eswatini? Not to fearmonger or anything, but I suppose as a matter of awareness as well, before we get into, you know, a matter of discipline, which is most critical in our conversation.
I think in the spirit of not fear-mongering, we stand, research needs to be done thoroughly before someone, when an animal or a human being dies, there needs to be thorough attribution. Was it due to the resistance pattern, or was it because the prognosis thereof really was leading there? So we need to be to err on the side of caution. So but basically we may be able to find out the significant impact of the AMR with regards to the mortality rates that we see in the country. And it would take probably a deliberate effort in pursuing that to quantitatively put it in a number.
Okay, I think that's a safe submission. And perhaps I think the efforts then reflect the possible, once we get the numbers, the possible effects on our economy as well as on our lives, as well as, you know, the money that is going to be spent to try and recover from this pandemic. A matter of discipline. For me, this is the most important conversation when we speak about problems. How do we come out of these doldrums? You know, let's first and foremost understand how antibiotics work. I think, you know, by people, by vets, by farmers, are supposed to ensure, you know, and remain a tool for healing rather than harm.
Thank you very much. How the antibiotics work, I think that's the main messaging on your question. Basically antimicrobials, the antibiotics, they target bacteria. So they basically target certain portions of the bacteria with which they weaken the structure, thus making the bacteria vulnerable to either the drug itself, so that it's able to penetrate and cause disrupt the patterns or the mechanism with which it's able to maintain its life, either through the cell wall or the nuclei, wherever the target is. But then all that depends on how much of the drug is available in the system of the human being or of the animal. And that, that takes deliberate effort by the person administering the drug to make sure that at no point in time is the drug underdosed. Because when the drug is low in lower concentrations in the blood, the bacteria is able to learn evasive mechanisms with which to basically inactivate the effect of or the expected efficacy of the drug on the animal. That then also happens. The same mechanism basically happens in all the either animals, humans, and or even plants.
Okay.
So basically, it is our use how we use the drug. If we misuse the drug, that would mean we are not using it for the right diagnosis. Then we are using the wrong drug to target a wrong bacteria. Thereby, there is learned evasive mechanism by the bacteria to say this drug normally behaves like this, but it's not the intended microbe. So that the microbe then starts learning or evolving unintentionally towards how this drug works. The next time it gets exposed to this drug, it will no longer
Resist
work.
it.
Yes. Then basically, it's in a nutshell, it does that. Yeah.
It's quite an interesting. These things really operate like they have their own brains.
Yes, they
They
learn.
can
They
really
learn.
study and learn these things,
Yeah.
which is concerning when you think about it. I did want to, understand, and I suppose this becomes very important when you speak about these things, learning and then eventually resisting. That means we have to have, and I suppose this is the case, competent doctors, vets, or whoever is administering that sort of medication, but also, and I've seen this happen many a times, and I have been the culprit myself. Mabakutshela ukuthi unatha kangaki lana, how many times a day. We normally take that lightly, and once over ngathi sewuphilile emtimbeni, we stop going as per the instruction. Perhaps let's shine some light on the importance of heeding to that instruction.
Thank you very much. I think the aim of awareness, creating awareness, is just to simply drill it in so that it influences our conduct. Then it becomes a habitual thing. Then it will then later invariably form a character basis whenever we interact with antibiotics. Like I was alluding to earlier, it depends. The main aim is to make sure that the antimicrobial drug is available consistently in certain range of concentrations within the blood so that it renders the microbe ineffective. How do you get there? It is when you listen to what is being told. The farmers need to listen to the vet officer who's basically using standard treatment guidelines on how to deal with certain microbes. Not all microbes are treated the same. Some you have said you can take the antibiotic twice a day, some 3 times a day, some 4 times a day. So the behavior of the drugs are not the same. So one needs to heed the instruction that's being given very cautiously. That said, the same instructions basically carry over also to human beings. Your question was, what do we mean then when we say twice a day, 3 times a day, to which most of us are culprit to? That the frequency, we call it frequency, how often you take it. It is basically to make sure that there is never a drug-free interval in your blood system. By that I mean the expected range of the concentration in your blood doesn't need to dip so low that it is undetectable, but also it shouldn't shoot too high so that it starts burdening the other organs that are digesting the drug in the body, like the liver and the kidneys. So we need to have the drug in the concentration range that is needed. So in a 24-hour, how we get to say how many times, it depends on the 24-hour period that we have in a day, and also the half-life of the drug. Because the drug itself, it can only stay in a blood system for a certain period, depending on how actively it's being removed from the body by either the kidneys or the liver metabolizing it to another forms which are not active towards the microbe. So those 2 variables, it's what determines how you take. You have got ciprofloxacin, a common drug that's given 500 milligrams twice a day for a number of conditions. It's given twice a day because it has a longer half-life. But then you've got cloxacillin, which is 6 hourly. So every 6 hours in a 24-hour period, you need to take the dose. But on the ciprofloxacin, you just need 12 times a day. Twice a day, which is after 12 hours. So that behavior basically both in animal, human, and also in the environment. It depends on how long the microbe, how much concentrations of the drug can need to be present around the microbe to render it ineffective.
Yeah, thank you so much for an insightful discussion. It's clear, I think, for even our viewers that the fight against AMR is not just a battle for today, but, you know, a fight for generations to come, as well as we aim to protect our lives, our animals' lives, as well as the environment, which is a whole ecosystem that affects all of us. You protect one, you protect all of us. Let's all be cautious and heed to the instructions that we are given. Let's go for a net break. Sitawubuya traffic update before we continue with the show. Thank you for staying with us.
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected. You embark on journeys to discover new worlds full of wonder. You choose a path to awaken your senses, a world to make you look up and realize just how inspiring this life can be. Arrive and awaken your heart. Explore life in ways only thought possible in your dreams. Discover just how far you go to expand your understanding of life's greatest mysteries. There's just one place on this planet with so much to offer. Now is the time for you to have the royal experience in the kingdom.
Basipha umbiko lotsini setawuphuma ngetimotolo nalabanye basetawuhamba eceleni kwemigaqo. Tidle khange kwesolumelu siyavusela gama nalomhla ekuseni. Ingabe nani isipopolela lomhla ekuseni uthini umbiko lwensiphawo?
Angivusele ngabe Nkosi, ngiphinde ngivusele naye umbukeli wemsakazo Iswazi TV. Imigwaqo even Eswatini sesihlolile. Umbiko nje lophuthumako lesinawo ukuthi umgwaqo lomkhulu longithela wayeka loqhamuka khona esiteki ungena phela edolobheni lelikhulu kaManzini uvaliwe lapha emafutheni. Ibotolo letathi qhamuke esiteki tifuneke edolobheni kaManzini tiyawuthi tifike tingene ti-ofembe lapha emafutheni e-police station. Tithi nakufika lapha eku-stop lapha phasi ebloweni tithathe umgwaqo ngasenqele tihambe emva kwe-CPL. Tithi natiqeda i-CPL tiphinde tithathe left bese tihamba ngemgwaqo lomdzala tifike etulu eSt Juliana esikolweni la tafike khona tithathe right tichubeke tihambe bese sithi natifika eMzimphofu tithatha left again bese tingena emgwaqweni lomkhulu letiqhamuka khona kaManzini letibheke khona esiteki titawuthi dona natifika eMzimphofu tifike tingene ngathi tiyanzimphofu esikolweni natifika lapha ku-stop tithathe left natiphinde tithathe right futhi bese tihamba ngalomgwaqo lomdzala lobheke khona eMphandze tithathu nasetithi nje cwababa edrundwini seteqile phela la kwakufakwa khona siqanqo bese setiyabona la takhelwe khona ukuthi titawujobelela umgwaqo lomkhulu. Umsebenzi ke lomkhulu wekufaka sona siqanqo ubekeke kokuthi ubekiswe kokuthi utawuthatha emalanga lamane. Siyacela ke emaswati lamahle kokuthi niwahloniphe amaphoyisa latabe akhona emgwaqweni netimpawu temgwaqo phela letibekiwe ukuthi tinilayele ukuthi indawo hamba ngakuphi. Lokunye lesinako umsebenzi we-construction nakhona uyachubeka kaManzini emgwaqweni wethu losuke eMangwaneni ubheke khona emathayini. Timpawu temgwaqo ke tikhona letibekiwe. Siyacela nakhona inhlonipho ihambe embili maswati lamahle. Lokunye lesinako ukuthi tiba netemgwaqo tasenhlangano ePostini nakaManzini eRiverstone atisebenzi. Sicela nje ukuthi abashayeli bachubeke bahloniphane banikane amathuba lanele. Ingakho lesinato namhla ngihaba yenkosi.
Ngamane sibonga kakhulu umbiko losipha wona sithembe bachube imotolo nalabahamba ceni kwemigwaqo batawucaphela letoti itsikabeto siyite ubahlulela emarket sitabuya netindzaba tesingisi.
kude lesinye isikhathi ngaphandle kwalesi.
Aba research bafunze.
Being risky means ukuthi nalokuwa kwayo kulula.
Nathi kufuna sente ukukhicita lokhu sekubili.
Welcome back to the program. We look at our English news now. Her Majesty the Queen Mother has donated blankets and other items to be given to the new babies that will be delivered on Christmas Day and on New Year's Day. Now, this follows the visit that was done by their Majesties sometime this year, whereby Her Majesty saw the need to assist the maternity ward.
In August this year, His Majesty King Mswati III and Her Majesty the Queen Mother visited the Zondwago Clinic, whereby the King commissioned and blessed the operation of the newly built maternity ward. After seeing the situation during the visit, Her Majesty the Queen Mother has seen it proper to present the clinic with a few items that can be used by the maternity ward. Through the Lieutenant Governor, Themba Gininza, Her Majesty presented the clinic with blankets for babies that will be delivered on Christmas Day and on the New Year's Day. The Queen Mother also donated other items such as shoes.
Nine bekunene sonke siyathi kusenhlitiyweni yendlovukazi ibathanza kanganani bantwana nokwekuthi ibathanza kanganani bogogo nabomkhulu njoba sashito umbishop lapha usikuye uyidzabukise naye sivakashela bomkhulu bese ikhanza labatukulu bede nekwembatha isike nje nayo njengagogo welive ayimane iphose naku lokusesivivaneni ngayo inhlangano yayo yakaphilana bekunene inkosisi asitene thulela ngemabhayi etinswane bomiljane laba labatelwe nanathi ticatshulwana tabo bodwana labatatifaka kukhona ke nalokunye lokuswa bobhova bakubhalile la ngathi usukunjani kepha ke kuswa bobhova niyakaba nini niyakwati nayo ke inkosisi asitekwethula kulamateki ke bangibhalele lapha ukuthi alikhulu nemashumi lamabili nelitekli lokusho ukuthi 121 nalapha ke emabhayi nayo angileyo nombolo emabhayi la khona lokhu kwemateki nalokho amabhova kunengi bekunene asikakhona ukubala live ke liyajabula bekunene kokuthi nibambe lo msebenzi njengoba nayo ikliniki yakazondwako iphumelele sibhekekile ukuthi sikusebenze lo msebenzi babendlula inkosi kubeke kulo msebenzi ngoba ikwethembile ibona ukuthi futhi inkosi nayibeka isibeka lapha kuleti ndzawo isuke ithandazile isuke yathi lokuthi utawubamba lo msebenzi inkosi bekunene isasethule nathi timpahla siyethule kilo kini bekunene kwekuthi labo labanqane seniyabaphuthela bafuthumale nabo nkosi bakhona ukuthi badle khisimusi labo labatawuvela ngakhisimusi nalabo labatawuvela ngaJanuary boJanuary seniyabaphuthela ngabo.
The gifts were received by the Minister of Health, Mduduzi Matebula, who thanked Their Majesty for the construction of the clinic at Kazondwago because it was really needed. The Minister also promised that these items shall be received by relevant individuals.
Ngicela ngikubonga. Ngibonge ingwenyama nayo yona indlovu yemhlaba ukuthi beyingasivulela le clinic yakazondwakho solo
sajabula noma uhambe etaladini kaZondwako solo lelanga abalukhohlwa sithi ke solo sikhutala bayethe wena waphakathi Nkosi Ndlovukazi Mhlekazi ngingakachubeki ngicela kubonga ngibonge engwenyameni kokuthi litiko libambiseke ngalendlela elibambiseka ngayo sibonga kokuthi akhulule emazinyane kokuthi abengawabambisa kule daka health ngibathe ngiyahamba lapha etiko ngikhanza lama NGOs onke agcwele emazinyane agcwele emakhosikadi sibambisekile sibaka health ngayo yonke indlela singeke sikulibale lokho ukubonga kepha na ke namuhla sihlangane ngesipho lesikhulu lesibuya kumhlekazi asebenzisa Philani Maswati ngimangele nakuvulwa lamaboxini ngokuthi hawo labonto for predict labanje zange sengeke ngwabona emabhayili amahle ngalendlela ngathi ngisagadze emabhayi ngabona kungena nemateki kungena nemacrocs le indvuna iwabite ngemabhova emabhokisi angathi sitakuthatha kwekulayisha ngoba ngeke kwenele ngisho kuleloli diphatheke kahle letinto atibuyi kuminister wa health atibuye kusister wakaZondwako atibuye etiko wonke lo uyawuthathole la kufuna athi sibuya phlesipho lesi.
Also present during the presentation of the gifts was Gazondwako Chief and the Member of Parliament. On the news, I'm Kolile Mazia with Tabiso Dlamini in Lobamba.
His Excellency, the Right Honourable Prime Minister Russell Miso Dlamini says that antimicrobial resistance has become a silent killer worldwide. The Prime Minister says the Kingdom of Eswatini can play a significant role in the fight against antimicrobial resistance. The Prime Minister made these remarks on the final day of the World AMR Awareness Week commemoration. It was held in Babane during a recorded video address to the meeting.
The Kingdom of Eswatini joined the world in commemorating World Antimicrobial Awareness Week, which concluded with a focus on agricultural sector. The Ministry of Agriculture held a meeting with relevant stakeholders to present data on antimicrobial consumption. Addressing the meeting through a recorded video, His Excellency the Right Honourable Prime Minister Russell Dlamini says it is important to establish proper channels for the responsible access to antimicrobials.
The Kingdom of Eswatini plays a significant role in the fight against antimicrobial resistance. To all of Eswatini today, I want to draw your attention to this pressing issue that threatens our health, the health of our animals, and the health of our environment and our economy. To effectively tackle antimicrobial resistance, we must adopt a One Health approach. This approach recognizes the interconnectedness of human health, animal health, and the environment.
The Minister of Agriculture, Honourable Mandla Chauka, highlighted the significance of using antimicrobials, noting that they are essential in both animals and human health.
The whole world actually is now worried about this phenomenon, because what it then does is that it exposes even humans to risks of not being responsive to administration of these antibiotics, because some of these antibiotics are used interchangeably or between humans and animals. So it is important that we make sure that we always adhere to the right practices.
The Kingdom of Eswatini is ranked 86th out of 135 countries in terms of antimicrobial usage. For Eswatini TV News, Sondomlangeni, Babane.
Parliament has passed a motion on the Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Mandla Chauka, to provide information on resources required to extend the subsidy program so it could meet the needs of all small-scale farmers in the country. The motion was moved by Lamkapi Nkundla, Member of Parliament, Honorable Sikelo Jele, wherein he implored the House to give the Minister a maximum period of 7 days to table a report to the Honorable House.
After Lamkapi Nkundla, Member of Parliament, Honorable Sikelo Jele moved the motion and seconded by Mayiwane MP, Honorable Sikelo Dlamini, members of the House made their reactions as directed by the Honorable Speaker of the House.
Kucela nje etikweni ukuthi asimane sithi gaqa lesikhwama sitocoverisha emaswati lamaningi.
Besingacela nje lokuthi minister ngathi angenda njani nakunjani akabuye eParliament kusenesikhathi acele le budget ya ngoba kuyabonakala lokho ukuthi umbila singakhona ukuthi limele.
Ingabe minister uma sekuphele nje umnyaka uye abuke vele mbamba enditiko ukuthi kukhona yini hulumende la sitakale khona ngale subsidy kubalimi.
The Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Mandla Chauka, reacted to the motion by informing the House that funds allocated for the farming input subsidy program were depleted due to a positive response by farmers.
Liqiniso leliphelele ofanele likhumbule sibahlonishwa ngilokuthi litiko lihambile la ngaphandle etinkundleni limikisa lihlelo lokuthiwa simikisa litiko ebandweni besifika sikhulume ngaso lesikhwama lesi naletinye tikhwama sicucutele ukuthi balima abaphume bolima ngani ngoba sifuna ukuthi live sizesebenzisa ligama lelithi sifuna kuba ne-food sovereignty sifuna ukuthi sibe sikhululeke ekudleni ngokusukudla sithikhicitele evele ngikho lokubanga ukuthi labalimi basheshe baphume vele nabantu seyifika le mali balalizela lokucutelwa litiko bayaphuma ke baye emalini manje ke ngoba le mali vele njoba saphakelwa idlu ehloniphekile yaphela ke bantu bangakeneli bantu lesibasitile bakahle bahlonishwa badisho inombolo kuyavakala but nje inombolo le official ingetulu kwa 6,800.
The Speaker of the House, Honorable Jabulani Mabuza, then put the House to vote for the adoption of the motion.
Labathi emotion ayisale iphasa abathi aye labathi ayingaphasi abathi nay. The ayes have it and the ayes have it.
Reporting Mbonga Dube with Skombozo Dlamini and Smova Shongwe Lobamba.
The Eswatini Electricity Company says the growing demand for electricity coupled with major projects planned to be undertaken by the company in the next financial year has compelled it to rather apply for a tariff increase in the upcoming financial year. This was revealed during a meeting between the company, government officials, as well as various business people. It was held in Eswatini on Tuesday.
Making his presentation, Managing Director of the Eswatini Electricity Company, Antimicrobial, says even though the electricity tariff hike is on the table, the company is focused on producing enough electricity for the country and reducing the amount of imported, as 60% of the country's annual revenue is spent on electricity purchases from neighboring countries.
Why is the increase based on the ESCOM, or the assumption based on the ESCOM increase and not on the general energy mix of Eswatini?
If you are asking for a 30% increase, specifically on your MT and your time of use, so you are saying to me, I need to budget for an extra, how many? 3 times 2, about 60 million for this year. And then you are telling me that in 2 years' time, that will have gone up to even 138 million or so. What business can absorb that?
Those overseeing different departments within the company responded that the company is regulated in terms of electricity capacity that can be sourced from outside of the country. Managing Director Ernest Mkonda lamented on the costs related to the company's development of the power plant.
If you look at the tariff application methodology, yes, we capitalize on completion, but what goes into the application methodology is the depreciation of those assets. which are depreciated on a straight line over 20 years. The loan that has been obtained has its own conditions, and those conditions require that we pay back by 30 years.
Mkonta says they aim to transform their service delivery by purchasing sustainable vehicle and developing an open application that will cost about 4 million in Malangeni. Reporting for Eswatini TV, I am Satabile Mamba. The report was compiled by Notsile Sitole with Tabiso Mapanga in Ezulwini.
Eswatini's global credit rating upgrade from B3 positive to B2 stable by Moody's Investor Service is going to boost investor confidence as it shows that the country can pay its overall debt obligations and is a stable investor destination. Now, this was shared by Honourable Minister of Finance Neil Reichenbach, adding that Eswatini was indeed given the upgrade on Monday.
The Minister for Finance, Honourable Neil Reichenbach, details how Moody's has upgraded Eswatini and how it will impact on foreign direct investment and the country's economy.
The Minister of Finance is pleased to share that Moody's Investor Service has upgraded Eswatini's global credit rating from B3 positive to B2 stable, while also improving our South Africa market-specific credit rating to B33A.ZA from BA2.ZA. In the period under review, and since the last rating was issued, the government has implemented significant institutional reforms. These include establishing the SACU Revenue Stabilization Fund, also known as the SACU Fund. Additionally, the government has worked consistently to largely clear domestic arrears owed for goods and services that have been provided. These efforts have created a more stable fiscal landscape, which will support the economy. It's expected that debt will stabilize at around 40% of GDP over the medium term. Concurrently with the global credit ratings, Eswatini's South African National Scale Ratings, what is referred to as NSR, Senior Unsecured MTN rating, will be upgraded to PBAA3.ZA from PBA2.ZA. This outlook has been changed to stable from positive. The implications of this adjustment are positive for Eswatini's treasury bonds listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Subsequent to the upgrade, the bonds are now considered investment grade, opening up the markets to entities that are only permitted to buy investment grade stock.
In a telephonic interview, economist Sanele Sibiya said improvements in ratings like Moody's is a good thing for the country because it improves the country's ability to attract foreign direct investment and also improves the country's standing in financial markets, making it easier for the country to mobilize more money through the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, bilateral institutions and multilateral institutions. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Dlangamandla, Mbongwa Dube, Mbabane.
The acting Chief Executive Officer of First National Bank in Eswatini, Thokozani Dlamini, says that the bank has begun exploring innovative solutions in the bank sector to better address the needs of Eswatini's citizens. Dlamini made these remarks during an engagement session with editors aimed at sharing key information with the media. It was held in Ezulwini.
The First National Bank in Eswatini has opened its doors to engaging with editors, showcasing innovative products designed to benefit Emaswati. Speaking during the session, the bank's acting CEO Thokozani Dlamini says that when developing new products, the bank always takes into account the needs of the people.
Customer at the center, customer at the center. The time of trying to create products and then throw them at customers is long gone. Now it is about customer solutions, understanding what is happening with your clients, and then providing contextual solutions on them. And understanding the changing needs, okay? Whether you came and you dealt with boomers, whether you're now dealing with the Gen X's, dealing with millennials, dealing with the iGens, and now what Gen Alphas, and all of these clients as they grow up will have different needs, which have a higher demand than the previous generation.
Zilindile Fernman, the head of payments at the bank, says that the bank has introduced simpler payment methods both locally and across borders, to make transaction more convenient for customers.
Account to account type payments, account to wallet type payments, sending and receiving, by the way, and making sure that those are instant. Right now, when we are making a payment, let's say even if it's a bank to bank, you make a payment now, there's probably clearing time, run about mid-morning before it reaches the other bank. With the phase 1 of the national payment switch, those transactions are going to be instant. It will not wait for that batch processing that we currently do.
The government of Eswatini has made significant strides in advancing financial inclusion with the launch of the second National Financial Inclusion Strategy of 2023 to 2028. Financial inclusion in the country stood at 53% in 2011, and by 2023 it has increased to 87%. For Eswatini TV News, Sondomlangeni, Ezulwini.
Lack of infrastructure and clear business structure are some of the challenges faced by women and the youth, which leads to their businesses struggling to make profits. Muzigai said Dube, the managing director of Eswatini National Industrial Development Corporation, highlighted this during the announcement of results of a study on financing of women and youth in the country in an event held at Mountain View in Babane. NIDC conducted the study in collaboration with the Investment Climate Reform Facility, which is co-funded by the European Union.
There are several recommendations that we've made. There are recommendations that are specific to policy issues, where you can actually look at issues that will govern the operations of the rural community-based projects. Rural-based projects. Some will be individually owned businesses, others will be community or say association-based projects. There are recommendations that they've given us. For instance, if they say women, they're talking into issues of collateral. They are defining other programs that we can do that will substitute the need of a fixed asset as a collateral. They're saying maybe one of the recommendations says, no, use the business itself, the market that the business is actually promising. They've identified certain critical measures that we actually build that as a support. They say use that now as a collateral.
The Director of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises at the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade, Mluleki Dlamini, says the study will be of great help to the ministry.
The work that has been done by the research, in fact, that has been done by NIDIX regarding youth and women products will assist us as a ministry, as a department, to try and see ways in which we can improve access to finance through our financial support initiatives. So basically, this speaks to now the inclusivity of women and the youth as part of the products that will be offered by the institution. And we're looking at also in which sectors and then replicate them to other areas whereby we are able to say now we have reached the target of ensuring that access to finance has been achieved for all businesses in the different segments.
The Eswatini National Industrial Development Corporation says the study will provide tailor-made funding packages to address the different challenges faced by the youth and women in the country in the business sector.
For Eswatini TV News, Naliswen Langamandla, Vuminkosi Nzinisa, Mbambane.
Moving on to international news now. Pakistani protesters demanding the release of ex-Prime Minister Imran Khan on Tuesday killed 4 members of the nation's security forces, the government said, as the crowds defied police and closed in on the capital center. Convoys of pro-Khan demonstrators have been marching on Islamabad since Sunday, holding aside roadblocks and skirmishing with police and paramilitary forces, firing volleys of rubber bullets and tear gas.
Flooding the streets of Pakistan's capital in defiance,
Police fired tear gas on protesters seeking the release of jailed Prime Minister Imran Khan. On Tuesday, demonstrators breached a lockdown imposed in Islamabad, openly defying a government order that security forces would respond with live fire if they came under threat.
Rangers will open fire, and there will be no protesters there after 5 minutes. But we're calling for restraint. Restraint, as lives could be lost. These are our people, Pakistani people. But there are red lines.
Imran Khan's wife is leading the protest to Islamabad and is calling on demonstrators to continue on to the city's heavily fortified red zone. Protesters are pledging to stay put until the former Prime Minister is freed.
We are here only on Imran Khan's call. Imran Khan told us to come here, not for him, but for our sake and the sake of Pakistan. That's the reason we are here. We will stay here until Khan himself is here with us and tells us what to do next.
Imran Khan was ousted in a vote of no confidence in 2022 and a year later was placed behind bars for a graft conviction. Since then, he has been sentenced in a host of other cases. Khan remains an extremely popular figure in Pakistan and claims the cases are politically motivated. Back in February, his PTI party won the most seats in the general election, but was kept away from power by a coalition of parties deemed acceptable by the influential military. While it's unclear how the latest show of defiance will end, Washington is calling on both the protesters and Pakistani authorities to exercise restraint.
United States President Joe Biden on Tuesday welcomed a ceasefire deal between Israel and the Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah in Lebanon. However, there is no indication the deal will hasten a truce and hostage release deal in Gaza, where Israel is battling with the Palestinian militant group Hamas.
After days of Israeli strikes on the capital Beirut and other cities in Lebanon and rocket fire from Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah into Israel, a ceasefire between the warring parties lauded by U.S. President Joe Biden Tuesday.
Effective at 4 a.m. tomorrow local time, the fighting across the Lebanese-Israeli border will end. Will end. This is designed to be a permanent cessation of hostilities.
Biden spoke following a speech by Benjamin Netanyahu earlier on Tuesday. The Israeli Prime Minister agreed to a ceasefire after over a year of cross-border clashes initiated by Hezbollah over the war in Gaza, where Israel is battling Hamas, another Iran-backed group.
With the United States' full understanding, we maintain full freedom of military action. If Hezbollah violates the agreement and tries to arm itself, we will attack. If it tries to rebuild terrorist infrastructure near the border, we will attack.
Netanyahu said Israel needs to refocus attention on its operations in Gaza following Hamas' deadly terror attack on Israel last October and the threat posed by Iran. But there is no indication the truce in Lebanon will lead to a ceasefire in Gaza and the release of Israeli hostages held by Hamas.
Over the coming days, the United States will make another push with Turkey, Egypt, Qatar, Israel, and others to achieve a ceasefire in Gaza.
In an address to a United Nations forum Tuesday, Iran accused the Israeli government of war crimes and genocide and welcomed the recent arrest warrant for Israel's leader issued by the International Criminal Court over the war in Gaza.
We are all obliged under international law to assist the Palestinian people in their lawful and legitimate struggle to secure their right for self-determination against occupation and apartheid.
Under the ceasefire, Israeli forces will retreat south of the Lebanon-Israel border, while Hezbollah will move north of the Litani River. The plan calls for the Lebanese army, which is not involved in the Israeli-Hezbollah fighting, to patrol the region between the two warring sides. The U.S. and France will help monitor ceasefire violations.
On our sports news, the Eswatini Boxing Association development coach Maxwell Ngwenya is expressing the urgent need for the country to have a policy where boxing clubs should have junior programs of boxers under the age of 8 as a better way of preparing the future stars of the sport. Ngwenya was speaking to Eswatini TV journalists at Lobamba. On another story, Eswatini Boxing Association Secretary General Philile Smelane, that is Philile Smelane, she is the SG of the Basketball Association, not the Boxing Association. She talks about the negotiations with different sponsors that are ongoing accordingly, with the hope to see the return of basketball from January next year. That is how we wrap up our English news. We'll go for a net break. We'll speak to CCG Systems after the break.
Be sure to catch Business Watch every Wednesday between 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., where we feature the latest updates on business news, market trends, and exclusive interviews with industry leaders, as well as insights on emerging small and medium enterprises in the commercial sector. Business Watch, your business leader.
Renewal of TV licenses for 2024 is now open. Here is a quick reminder. A viewer's TV license costs 180 emalangeni per device. Other accessories such as decoders and set-top box cost 50 emalangeni per device. For traders and repairers, TV license costs 300 emalangeni per business area. And now, to pay your TV license, use these following methods. You can use MTN Mobile Money with the number 76222000 or dial *007 *3 *7 hash. Or you can use Eswatini Imali. And you can pay our TV license at any post office in the country. Another option is you can use any NetBank branch using our TV license account number 119900430037. Don't forget, when paying for your viewer's TV license, reference with your PIN at all times. And when paying for a retailer TV license, reference with your TIN at all times. For more information, call us on 7802-4543 or 34050163 or 34020879. And you can send us a WhatsApp message on 762222000.
Be sure to catch Business Watch every Wednesday between 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., where we feature the latest updates on business news, market trends, and exclusive interviews with industry leaders, as well as insights on emerging small and medium enterprises in the commercial sector. Business Watch, your business leader.
34 minutes after 7. Thank you for staying with us. We get into the transformative power of tech and innovation in shaping Eswatini's economic and social future now. And joining us, two remarkable women leading this charge, Ms. Itumeleng Mphatso, the CEO of CCG Systems in Eswatini, who is a pioneer in enterprise resource planning solutions. But she's not alone. She is with Ms. Jennifer Kama, the business development lead at CCG Systems Eswatini. They represent the vibrant leadership of our communities as we continue to transform the tech sector of Eswatini. Housed at the Real Science Technology Park, RSTP, an incubator of Eswatini's technological dreams. Their work aligns very, very closely with the ambitions, or rather the visions, of the Ministry of ICT under the leadership of Honorable Minister Savannah Mazia. The goal is to foster a knowledge-based economy, emphasizing youth empowerment, digital transformation, as well as leveraging technology for sustainable growth. We want to explore this morning how this vision intersects with the local innovation to create a brighter STEM-driven future for the Kingdom of Eswatini. Very good morning to you, ladies. Itumeleng, let me start with you as the CEO of CCG Systems. You are renowned for the innovative solutions that you bring forward, tailored to the public and private sector in Eswatini, or other entities in Eswatini. Could you share how your presence at the Real Science and Technology Park accelerates your mission to enhance efficiency and transparency through technology?
Thank you so much for that question, and thank you so much for having us. So I think with the vast experience that we have, more especially around the public sector as well as the private sector. So what we have done is you find out that more especially ERPs, right? With ERPs, you find that obviously finance is the same throughout. There's generally accepted accounting standard or practices throughout. It doesn't change. Whether you go to South Africa, you go to UK, debit is a debit, a credit is a credit. Trial balance is a trial balance. And then when you go to HR, again, we're looking at the legislations, we're looking at all of that, but then the practices, it's usually the same.
Yeah.
However, then when it comes to the core, that's where the problem is, because then over and above the financial leg and over and above the HR and payroll leg, there is then the core. And then that's where now from our side, we actually developed solutions which integrate seamlessly with the ERP system.
Okay.
So those developments that we've done, it's around the e-procurement, caters for the whole tendering process. There's audit trail available for that. The asset management, when you want to do your asset verification, asset maintenance, and all of that, it does that. If you want to track your fuel consumption, it does all of that. And then there's performance management, which is a huge, I think, risk. And then almost all the public sectors, they are pushing for that to say, you know, we want to measure, are we meeting our KPIs? You know, and then obviously now all these solutions, okay, there's a lot that we've done, the budgeting and all of that, but these solutions then are integrating seamlessly with the ERP system. So then what we have done is we've went through all the organizations within Eswatini. There's a great need for the technology that we've done. So it's a matter of then aligning to say, where do we start in terms of rolling out these solutions and what is the value thereof? Because, you know, meeting up with different departments and meeting up with different organizations, all of them, they've shown great interest in terms of what we can actually work on and how that will actually then increase flexibility and productivity, and also visibility and accountability as well. Because at this moment, because most of the things are manual, then it's easy to misinterpret data.
Absolutely.
It's
Maybe before I come to you, Ms. Gama, again, Mphatso, you're housed at the RSTP.
True.
You know, Minister Savannah has spoken about we need to bolster more research centers in Eswatini.
True.
We need more of those because they play such an essential role to what has culminated as your development as CCG Systems. Would you say RSTP is indeed accelerating your ambitions?
Most definitely. Most definitely. So when we actually partnered with RSTP, it was mainly because of that vision, you know, to be that technology hub in the country. So as for the engagements to date, we are making progress from a tech perspective and in terms of rolling out these solutions to the country. So obviously, we're not applying a full bang approach. It's a process by process, one step at a time. However, what I can assure Amaswati out there and departments out there is that RSTP and CCG is definitely coming, and you must just wait for us. We are coming with all the right solutions.
Really important driving this tech ecosystem, and I suppose when it is being broadly said by the ministry that the next 20 years are going to be very different from the previous 20, mainly because of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and let me say tech as a whole. You are the business lead, and we see tech innovations. Would you say that, you know, especially with the ministry's ICT push towards a knowledge-based economy, would you say that your role as CCG Systems as business lead speaks to these aspirations?
Most definitely it does speak to that. I'll just echo also on the fact that CCG has come in to bring in forth and bring into reality the dream of the king, which was initially where 2022 we become a first world country, where we become the leaders of technology in the country, you know. So where we are right now, that's where we are heading. That's where, not even where we are heading, that's where we're at right now. So that's what CCG is pushing forth. And also with, to emphasize and to echo what they have done, they've also hired local talent, further empowering their minds, empowering the talent that is in the country, and pushing forth the vision that the Minister of ICT has, the King's vision that he has, and also just making Swaziland the center of Africa in terms of digitalization and being the lead, because honestly, there's a lot of talent here and there's a lot of capabilities, and CCG saw that, and they are here to make sure that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Technology as a catalyst for economic growth has been the King's pronouncement, and certainly the ministry's pronouncement, and we have been seeing some of the drives that they've been doing in attracting that sort of FDI for that kind of investment in Eswatini. But most importantly, as we attract that FDI, local entrepreneurs like you guys, young, most importantly, you know, taking up that space. Let's leverage technology for sustainable growth. We have seen government in your hand, a lot of other government services that are being, you know, integrated into tech now for economic growth. Would you say that CCG Systems' role has a role in this broader goal for Eswatini, and how is it CCG Systems really contributing to this goal?
I would say yes, definitely we do. We are playing a role in the digitalization of the country.
Right.
For instance, we've been very manual for a long time, very manual, and we've been very slow-paced in getting into the technological space. So CCG has played a huge role in ensuring that happens and being a part of an instrument to...
Maybe let me come back to you, Mphatso. Perhaps look at the future that lies ahead. We continue to bolster our tech space in Eswatini, and it's more imperative now more than ever. Speak to me about some of the plans that CCG has to make sure that your role is seen and felt.
Thank you so much for that question. Already, Tina, we out of Eswatini. If I can put it like that, we are in Africa, we are global.
Right.
So that is where we at. So Eswatini, the population is very small, right? And with the population being very small, pushing the way we're pushing, because we've got young people, if I can put it like that, and with the right talent. So, and the right expertise and skills. So we are looking beyond Eswatini. We are looking into other countries as well. However, the vision then, it was to build capacity in Eswatini, and then as we go out globally, then we're going to be using the resources that we have in Eswatini. I want to have leaders, young people, innovative individuals who will then be going out to these other countries and being leaders there and mentoring other young people with the similar talent as well.
Yeah.
As far as technology is concerned, obviously we are progressing at, I don't know what rate I would say, because there's a lot that is actually happening from a technological space. So what we have is also the research leg, so that we make sure that we remain relevant and current with whatever that is happening, the latest trends as far as technology is concerned. So
speaking on latest trends, and I want to speak about AI, which is something that you are incorporating in your advanced technology as a CCG systems. How do you envision some of these tools contributing to Eswatini's digital readiness and innovation goals as laid out by some of the ICT's ministries, government in your hand strategy?
True. I think for us, the narrative that we're putting across right now is AI interprets what is on the system. Right? The analytics that you get are informed by what you have on your systems. So if you don't have proper systems, then your digital transformation strategy or efforts will actually falter. You won't get value out of it, because that is my understanding, and I stand to be corrected. Garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, of course.
And then information now, or data, it's the new gold. Right? But where are we storing that data? Where is that data sitting to inform us to make more informed decisions? So I think from where we're sitting, more especially from Eswatini perspective, let's start with having proper systems in place first. And then after you have proper systems in place, then let's talk artificial intelligence, because what artificial intelligence is doing, it's interpreting what is on your system.
The data that we have already collected.
Yes. So then now, if you don't have systems in place, then what will AI do?
Okay, great conversation. Dumelang Mphatso, CEO of CCG Systems Eswatini, with Jennifer Gama, Business Development Lead, CCG Systems. Thank you so much for your presence here. I know that you have more of your people here in studio who are ready to further develop these conversations that we are having in driving innovation for Eswatini, the role of business incubation and ICT in Eswatini's digital landscape. Let's go for a net break and we'll be back shortly.
I'm a very, 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 very happy customer. I know.
Imali ebhizinisi ayidliwa wayidla udobulala phansi.
Hayi ngimsebenzi yethu lesindako la ekhaya njengoba niyibona lilihle kangaka.
Ngiyagolosha, which is crocheting.
Ngiyakhicita ke noko kakhulu emsebenzini wethu ikhumba.
Ngenda kwegaba emacici nokwegaba entsanyeni.
Ngilungisa emagedlela.
Hello, how are you? We are selling peanuts at 5.
Thank you so much. Umdala kubusi. Babe.
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected. You embark on journeys to discover new worlds full of wonder. You choose a path to awaken your senses, a world to make you look up and realize just how inspiring this life can be. Arrive and awaken your heart. Explore life in ways only thought possible in your dreams. Discover just how far you'll go to expand your understanding of life's greatest mysteries. There's just one place on this planet with so much to offer. Now is the time for you to have the royal experience in the kingdom.
All right, exactly 10 minutes before 8, we are joined by two more professionals under CCG Systems. We have Sihle Mdluli, Sage X3 Technical Consultant. I myself are about to learn what that entails. He's with Mr. Mao Tsedi. He's the HR and payroll consultant under CCG Systems. Let me start with you, Mr. Mdluli. I understand you were out of the country very recently for more business in East London in South Africa. But what captures me really is, the work that you do as well. If you will, just, highlight what it entails really and how it can help push the envelope for Eswatini's tech space.
Okay. Thank you for having me, sir. A very good morning to everyone, the viewers at home and everyone in the studio. My name is Sihle Mdluli. I work for CCG Systems as a Sage X3 technical technician. Yes.
Right.
I was recently in East London, Eastern Cape, yes, supporting the CCG employees there. Yes, I learned a lot from them, and I believe I also taught them a bit of something there as well. Yes, I believe what I was there for was basically to share more of what I've learned this side in terms of the tech related issues, and also learn from what they have to offer to us. Yes.
Yeah, but what would you say you learned that you feel like Eswatini needs and can learn from, and you can bring home and implement?
I think what I learned from them, which can benefit Eswatini, is basically the new way they do things. It is all paperless. They are more technological.
Okay.
Yes, because we were mostly working remotely, but we also on site with the clients we were serving.
Okay.
Yes, so I learned a lot in as much as that is concerned. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Maybe I'll come back to you to understand Sage X3, what that means in its entirety, as well as, to get deeper into going paperless, because as we reduce our carbon footprint, that becomes very essential. Mr. Mao Tsedi, let's speak to you, HR and payroll systems, and I suppose that is also being integrated into what was known yesterday into what should prevail today in the ICT landscape. Speak to me about how this fits into the larger national vision of a knowledge-based economy.
Thank you so much for that, and good morning to all the viewers at large. My name is Mao Tsedi. So in terms of HR and payroll, but I'll just touch on all the systems that we offer. So Sage X3 is just another impact solution that we'll offer you that will but it will deal with all your financial solutions. So your budgeting, a lot of elements around the budgeting, the reporting, and so forth. And then in terms of HR and payroll now, it's how you manage your employees, how you're paying your employees. With paying of your employees, they have deductions, the pension funds, the medical aid contributions. We offer you a system that will do all of that digitally. So the one that we are now wanting to roll out as CCG is a cloud-based system. Right, so it eliminates a lot of other elements that would need to be installed, like your servers, and your remote accesses. When it's cloud-based, it makes it easily accessible, and it is extremely user-friendly to all the users at large. So those are the systems that we are trying to bring into Eswatini.
And how efficient is its security? Because it becomes very important.
So the systems that we implement, they go through rigorous checks internationally, that is, because like our CEO mentioned previously, we don't just have local footprint in Eswatini and South Africa alone. We do have international footprint in like the UK and the UAE. So the systems we implement need to cater to all of these countries. So we go through rigorous checks that ensure that we are internationally compliant in terms of safety and security.
Yeah. Okay. So let me come back to you. Eswatini continues to push forward its digital agenda, an important agenda with the transformation of Eswatini as well as the economy of Eswatini. What advantages does an ERP solution like Sage X3 bring to Eswatini-based businesses in terms of, one, scalability, number two, efficiency, and three, the competitive edge, which becomes very essential as well?
Sage is very broad. It is a broad ERP system. It uses AI, artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Yes, it uses cloud computing. Yes, so those are the major things to highlight there. I think in terms of scalability, as I had mentioned, it supports almost all types of businesses.
Right.
Yes, in terms of whatever they may need. It offers billing modules, it offers supply chain modules, it offers performance management modules. So yes, I believe most big businesses and maybe small or medium enterprise businesses also need such services.
Yeah, speaking of those services, as a practitioner yourself, you conducted an eye study. I'm sure, you have friends you went to school with who are looking to get those kind of jobs in Eswatini. Would you say our current system is absorbing people who have graduated or rather have your sort of expertise? And if not, how would you implore businesses, and small ones and large ones, as you have highlighted, to be forthcoming and really, absorb this sort of urgent and important service?
I'd say it's mostly for technical students, yes, IT students mostly, yes, but it also caters for any other students. For instance, the HR side, yes, and the finance side, yes, it also caters for those.
But would you say there's a market for it? Because I suppose, as there's been a conversation right now that a lot of universities globally, the people that are graduating, the rate is much higher than that is being absorbed into the labor force or the labor industry. Talk to me about whether we do see these opportunities in Eswatini as efficient as possible, Mr. Mao.
We do. The market is there because through the engagements that we've been having, we can see that there is a need for these systems. Right. The current manpower that we have currently at CCG is currently only at 22. Right. So
22.
Yes. So the company was launched earlier on this year, and we took an approach of hire first, get clients later. So that's what we did. We hired, and then we upskilled. So I myself, I'm overlooking the upskilling of all the consultants that we have, that they're working with senior consultants in South Africa to gain all of that knowledge in order for us to be able to send them out on the ground to be fully fledged, because they're working on theory, they're getting that practical element together at the same time. So as Kusile has mentioned, we have your HR, we have your finance, which is your BCom related degrees, then we've got your information technology related degrees.
Okay.
So it does cater. There is a market for it, because with the 22 we have now, yes, we'll get the deals that we'll get the clients that we get, but then it's going to grow. There is a huge need for it in Eswatini, so the market is there. Because not just with ourselves as the company implementing the systems, but these companies where the systems are being implemented, they need people who will be able to interact and engage with the system. There are a lot of people who are going out into retirement, which leaves a gap there. So you need to have people who are coming in to fill in, oversee, watch, and be mentored essentially by people in these industries, so that when those who retire go out, there are people who are aware and know how to utilize these systems. So like you're saying, we've got a lot of graduates who are coming and don't have the spaces for that. When we bring in these systems, we're creating those spaces for them, because you've got your information technology graduates, but currently in your municipalities, for example, there is no information technology, or there is no technology at all. But when we bring in the technology, you've got space to hire these people.
Yeah, absolutely. Very essential. Let's speak about compliance and regulation in the digital era as, I suppose, our parting shot. I do see we have a bit of a minute and a few seconds left now. The growing adoption of ICT in the country, how does HR and payroll systems ensure businesses remain compliant with both local labor laws as well as global best practices?
Okay, so I'll speak to the system that I implement in particular, which is the HR and payroll system. When you are building that company, for example, in Eswatini, you'll set it to say, I am currently in Eswatini, right? So then it then uses the international laws that are embedded in the backgrounds of the system to say, okay, now we need to pull in all the labor and all the legal aspects of Eswatini in particular. So if I am in the UK, but I'm doing an implementation for you in Eswatini, as long as I have selected Eswatini, it pulls in all the legalization and all the aspects that are in particular to Eswatini. So our systems are international to that element, to say that they're keeping up to date with everything that's happening.
And I suppose strategies like the ICT strategy are, coming in for smooth transitions in that regard.
Yes, that's great.
Gentlemen, thanks so much for your time on the program, and all the best with more innovations that you come with, and most importantly, the job opportunities that are being opened for more Emaswati coming out of our university. Mr. Maotsedi and Mr. Sihle Mdluli from CCG Systems. We've come to the end of our program today. Thank you for staying with us. Have a lovely and blessed day. Bye-bye.